What's up, guys? I'm just a gamer, and I'm here with an interesting video. As the title says, I'm gonna be breaking down and theorizing about the story of Final Fantasy 16. Obviously, for those of you who have been following my channel, you may or may not know that that game is my most wanted to play right now. I am so hyped for that game. I honestly can't wait for the next 2 months to fly by because I just want to get my hands on it. But before that, yeah, so going back to like theorizing about the story, we actually know quite a bit about it, but there's some nuances that were revealed in the State of Play showcase that was really interesting to find. And so I'm going to be, you know, exploring those little tidbits, and I'm also going to be trying to basically outline what I think or how I believe the story will play out, at least for the beginning portions of the game. So, yeah, without further ado, let's jump into what we learned from the showcase. Also, in case it wasn't obvious, spoiler warning. Maybe I'm wrong completely, maybe I'm right. So, either way, spoiler warning. The first bit of interesting information comes from this text titled Rosaria Marches. It reads, with the Blight pressing at Rosaria's borders and forcing ever more citizens of the Duchy from their homes, Archduke Elwyn rallies his nation to take up arms against the Iron Kingdom and wrest Drake's breath from their grasp. Yet tradition dictates that they must first march north to Phoenix Gate to perform the rites of ancestral communion. Now, a few things here we learn right away is that Drake's breath is apparently a piece of land, and at first it belonged to Rosaria, but it looks like the Iron Kingdom came in, took it from them, and are holding it. And because of the blight, the sickness that's overwhelming all nations, they're grasping at any opportunity they can to try to help their people. So as it reads here, Archduke Elwyn, he's going to try to take that land back from the Iron Kingdom, which I'm guessing that the Iron Kingdom is where Yugo and the Titan icon are from. The next interesting thing is the Phoenix Gate. Obviously, we know that Rosaria, their icon is the Phoenix, and it looks like the rite of ancestral communion is basically, I'm going to assume, to allow Joshua to understand his abilities a bit more. Regardless, this is interesting information, and it gives us more context into, why these nations are battling, fighting each other, and the overall state of what's happening at the very beginning of the game. Now, a more juicy tidbit of information is stated here under the Knight of Flames. Acting in concert with the treacherous Duchess Annabella, Imperial forces attack Phoenix Gate. From the chaos arise two icons of fire, the fateful battle between them reducing all to ash. Now, this is actually quite important because it states that basically Clive's mother, the Duchess, betrayed everyone. For those unaware, the Duchess is the mother of both Clive and Joshua, the Phoenix icon. So that means she not only just betrayed the nation, she betrayed her own sons. For what? Obviously, we don't know, but it's just surprising because in the initial reveal trailers, it looks like she doesn't care about Clive and she only cares for Joshua, stating that he should be indoors or whatever, and, not really paying attention to Clive. But it seems that even that is a facade because she ends up letting Joshua die as well, or even plan to kill him as well, it seems. So yeah, it's very interesting to see that the mother of the main character is the one almost behind the entire event of the game. We also learned that it was under her orders for Clive to be taken as a prisoner by the Empire. It's as it states here. Clive does all in his power to save his brother and father from the Imperial infiltrators, but alas, it is not enough. The Phoenix awakens and runs rampant, and in the ensuing maelstrom, Clive blacks out. He is found in the rubble the next morning and enslaved by the Imperial army on his mother's orders. So again, I just find it so fascinating that his mother, the Duchess, Joshua's mother, is basically behind all of this. Like, she's the cause of it all. And I have to wonder, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she never intended for Joshua to die or to kill Joshua. Maybe she wanted to bring him over to the Imperial side for who knows what, but it just didn't work out that way. And because he apparently died, that's when she decides to just enslave Clive, which is interesting because I figured, why not kill him? Because she clearly showed no love for him earlier. So yeah, again, why is she doing all this is one of the main questions I have for the game right now. Here, we get a little bit more information on the aftermath of what happens after the incident at Phoenix Gate, when Phoenix and Ifrit basically decimate everything. As it reads here, seized by Senbreek. I may be saying this wrong, please forgive me. As soon as word of the death of Rosaria's leader and dominant reaches the Iron Islands, they invade, encountering little resistance on the road to Rothalis. Not to be outdone, Sanbreek launches an invasion of its own, driving the Crusaders from the shores of Storm and incorporating the Duchy into the Empire. Drafted into the Imperial Legion, Clive survived the tragedy of Phoenix Gate, only to be forcibly recruited into the Imperial army and spirited away to Sanbreek on his mother's orders. He would not return to his homeland again for many a long year. Also, let me quickly correct myself. Earlier I had stated that I believed the Iron Kingdom was where Yugo and the Titan icon were, but that's wrong. It clearly states here that the Iron Kingdom is where Shiva's dominant is from. And so, yeah, as it states here under Death and the Defile, the Iron Kingdom's unholy crusade is on the march once more, this time into the arid wastes of Dalmekia, where the Republic musters its main host in the depths of the Nisa Defile. Alarmed by the size and ferocity of the Ironblood horde, the Dalmecs call on the aid of their long-standing ally, Wei-Lu. As the two sides meet each other in bloody battle, a small group of Imperial soldiers infiltrate the fray in pursuit of their own target. Infiltration of the Nisa Defile. Clive is dispatched to the Nisa Defile as a member of the Bastards, an elite Imperial assassination squadron. Together with his branded brothers-in-arms, he pursues the Ironblood's army in order to take the head of the dominant of Shiva. However, all does not proceed as planned, and he is saved from certain death by a stranger named Sid. Now again, this is what we saw in the very first trailer in the very beginning. We've seen the scene very many times, that one battle between Shiva and Titan, and we knew from the get-go that Clive was after the Shiva dominant. But we also know that he knows the Shiva dominant. It's the little girl that was with him and his younger brother in the flashback, and we've seen more of her in the trailers and showcase, where we clearly don't go after her. We clearly recognize her and save her, and she joins us. We actually learn a little bit more about her from the text. Jill Warwick. Born a princess of the Northern Territories, Jill was made a ward of Rosaria after her homeland's incessant raids were quelled by the Duchy. She was raised in Rothalis Castle alongside Clive and Joshua, who came to love her as a sister. When she waved the brothers farewell on the day they departed for Phoenix Gate, little did she know of the misfortune that awaited both them and her. And then we also get another bit for when we encounter her again as an adult. Dominant of Shiva and Clive's childhood friend. In the depth of the Nisa Defile, the two came to blows at the orders of the armies that enslaved them. Jill fighting to defend the priests of the Iron Kingdom, Clive obeying the Empire's orders to take the head of Shiva's dominant. Exhausted from her tilt with Titan, Jill came close to falling to her assassin's blades, but was spared at the last moment when Clive's memories of their time together came flooding back. Now, this is super important because it basically just told us what's going to happen in the game. We're going to go fight our way to her. We're going to fight her, and that's, I believe Shiva's going to be one of the first powers we're going to get besides Phoenix. So when we start the game, we're going to have Phoenix, and then by the next power we get is going to be Shiva. So yeah, we're going to fight Shiva. She's going to be the first icon we fight. So I'm really interested to see what her fight's going to be like. So yeah, the state of play actually gave us a lot of interesting tidbits. The fact that Joshua and Clive's mother, the Duchess, she's a traitor. She basically helps the Imperials set that whole tragedy in motion. Basically, we learn that under his mother's order, that's how he gets imprisoned and enslaved into the Imperial army, and how he ends up going after Shiva and the Dominant, where we basically start the game. And then obviously, reading what happens with Jill, we learn of what's gonna happen during that segment of the game, which is Shiva's gonna be the first icon we fight, and that's how we're gonna get our, I'm assuming, second iconic abilities from her, and we end up saving her, and Sid saves us. So yeah, this is quite a bit of big info that just basically snuck on by. So from here, I'm going to try to basically outline where I think and how I think the story is going to play out, at least for the beginning portions of the game. So please bear with me if you feel I'm missing some stuff. But yeah, so let's just go. Okay, so from the start menu, I believe we'll go straight into the beginning of the Awakening trailer. We'll see Clive and the other bastards discussing their plans for infiltrating the battle between Titan and Shiva to try to take out Shiva. Obviously, during the fight between Shiva and Titan, things will not go the way as Clive will get knocked out, like we see here, and we will wake up in the flashback, where we will play the flashback and we will get to explore Rosaria before the final night between Ifrit and Phoenix. Now, while we're exploring and fighting monsters and doing quests in the flashback, we'll learn more about our relationship with Joshua and Jill, and obviously your mother, Duchess Annabelle, and what that entails. We'll then cut to this section where the elders are talking, because obviously Joshua's father's still alive. Now it says the tragedy and everything that happened at the Phoenix State, so this will be the Phoenix State where we fight the Dragoon and where everything really goes down. Then during which we'll actually get to play as Joshua and figure some stuff out what happens with him. And then this is while we're trying to escape, we know that the father unfortunately gets killed, betrayed, because if you look closely here, they're actually wearing the colors of Rosaria. They're wearing our colors, or their colors. Joshua will then lose it and completely Phoenix out, where at first it looked like they maybe try to capture him, but then he just says to go kill him. So yeah, and this is where apparently Clive blacks out. Phoenix, or Ifrit, rises up, and the two clash, destroying everything around them. I believe that after this point is where the game will cut back to 20-year-old Clive waking up from the rubble or whatever that he was stuck under when the rock fell on him, and he'll continue his mission to go after Shiva, which again, they'll cross blades, they'll fight, and as he goes to deliver the killing blow, that's when he'll remember and he'll see Jill and recognize Jill. And then from there, he'll probably, depending if any of his buddies are still alive, he'll turn his back on them, betray them to save her, and that's where Sid will come in, and that's where we see the guy carrying Jill on his back and bringing him to the hideaway And yeah, so that's where I think so far, or at least the beginning portion of the game will take place. Obviously, there are other sections of the game that we can already kind of line up already when they'll take place and when they'll go, but I don't want to go too far into this. I just wanted to give my thoughts and my theories on what's going to be happening, because again, this is all speculation. Even though we have those pieces of concrete information, that doesn't mean anything. It could completely change. There could be whole sections missing that we don't know about, or I don't know about. But yeah, that was just me wanting to break down what we know of the story so far, theorizing about where we're gonna go from there, and how it'll play out when we get our hands on the game. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like or comment down below. I appreciate any and all feedback. Subscribe. I'm streaming on Twitch, so please consider following me there at twitch.tv/JustAGamerRank. All together one word, or you can click the link below. But yeah, thanks for watching, and until next time, take care and have a good game.